The first warning did not come from Earth. It came from deep space, carried by a tight, cold beam that cut through the dark like a knife. The beam hit the outer edge of the solar system and woke up every listening post the galactic shield had hidden there. The message was short. It was not a greeting. It was not a request. It was a countdown. 7 days. The Reavers are moving. Evacuate. The Blue World Commander Vela Sorin stood on the bridge of the shield flagship Bright Earth, staring at the red letters as if staring could change them around. Her alien officers went silent one by one. Everyone in the shield knew that name, Reavers. They were not pirates. They were not a normal army. They were a hunger that wore metal and called it a body. When they hit a planet, they did not conquer it. They peeled it. They took oceans. They took cores. They took life and left quiet rocks behind. Vela's fingers tightened around the rail. Set course for Sol, she ordered. An officer blinked. Commander Sol is unaligned. Sol is alive, Vela snapped. And in 7 days it might not be. The officer bowed. Yes, Commander. The bright oath turned behind it. A fleet of shield ships followed like a silver storm. Vela did not like humans, not because they were evil, because they were unpredictable. They fought each other, laughed at rules, and filled their radio space with noise like they were proud of it still. The galactic shield had one job: protect worlds that could not protect themselves. Earth was loud. Earth was young. Earth was a match in a dry forest. And the Reavers were a wildfire. Earth's orbit glowed with traffic when the shield arrived. Satellites, stations, civil ships, military ships, thousands of tiny lights moving in careful paths. Then the shield fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 100 warships appeared like blades drawn from nowhere, and every Earth sensor screamed. Human defense stations locked on in seconds. Vela watched numbers spike and weapons warm. She saw their fear as bright as a flare. Open a wide broadcast, Vela said. No threats, no sudden moves. Her translator hummed. Her voice became a strong, calm signal pushed across every channel. This is Commander Vela Sorin of the Galactic Shield, she said. We come under emergency protocol. Earth is in danger. We are here to protect your world. For 3 heartbeats there was only static. Then a human voice cut in rough, tired, but steady. This is Admiral Jonah Reyes, Earth Defense. The voice said. You just brought 100 battleships into our sky. That's not what we call calm/state your intent. Vela kept her tone level. A Reaver swarm is heading for your system. Arrival estimated in 7 Earth days. We have orders to begin evacuation and planetary shielding. There was a pause. Then laughter. It wasn't nervous laughter. It wasn't a mistake. It was real. Vela stared. Admiral Reyes, you, the human, cut her off. Still amused. Reavers, that's the big threat. Vela felt heat rise in her chest. Admiral, they have destroyed. I know what they've done, Reyes said. We've seen the footage. We've read the files you left in those hidden posts you thought we wouldn't find. Vela froze. You found our outposts. Commander, you left metal boxes near our solar edge with blinking lights, Reyes replied. You basically wrote secret on them in bright paint. A few shield officers shifted uncomfortably. Vela's jaw tightened. Then you understand the urgency. I understand it, Reyes said. But I don't understand why you think we need evacuation. Vela leaned forward. Because you are one world with limited fleet power. Because you have no allied worlds. Because the Reavers are going to get a rude surprise, Reyes finished. Vela's eyes narrowed. Admiral, the shield is not here to argue. We are here to save you. Reyes chuckled again, softer this time, like he was hearing a familiar joke. Commander, do you have any idea who you're threatening to protect us from? Vela's patience cracked. I am not threatening you. I am warning you. No, Reyes said. And now the laughter stopped. I'm warning you. Don't park your fleet in front of Earth like a shield wall. You're going to be in the way. In the way of what? Vela demanded. Reyes did not answer right away. Then he spoke a single sentence that made the bridge feel colder. In the way of our guests. 2 hours later, Vela's shuttle crossed Earth's upper air and headed for a floating human station called Atlas Ring. Human ships escorted her. They kept distance, but their weapons stayed ready. Their pilots did not act like frightened prey. They acted like guards. Inside the station, Vela met Admiral Jonah Reyes in person. He was older than she expected. Silver hair, deep lines around the eyes, a scar along the jaw, but his stance was calm, hands loose at his sides. Around him stood human officers in simple uniforms, and behind them something else. Vela's eyes caught on the tall figure by the window. It was not human. It was shaped like a dragon. but not like the small myth animals in old Earth art. This one was upright, massive, with dark scales that shimmered like oil in light. Its eyes were gold and old. Its wings were folded tight, but the bones under the skin were clear, real. Vela's breath caught a dragon, not a story, not a symbol. A living, breathing, star-born dragon. The dragon turned its head slowly and looked at her like it was measuring her soul. Reyes followed her stare. "Commander Vela Soheen," he said. "Welcome to Atlas Ring. I'd like you to meet Asha." The dragon spoke, and the translator struggled for a moment before it found a path. "Hello, Chill Commander," Asha said, voice like distant thunder. "You smell like fear and duty." Vela forced herself not to step back. "Dragons are not listed in your species registry." Reyes smiled a little. "Because nobody asked us." Vela's voice came out sharper than she wanted. "How long have you been in contact with Draconids?" Asha blinked slowly. "We are not your word." Reyes leaned on the table. "We call them the Star Dragons. They call themselves something we can't pronounce without breaking our tongues." Vela turned fully to Reyes. "Admiral, this changes nothing. The Reavers are coming. Dragons or not, your world is a target." Reyes nodded. "Correct. And that's why I told you not to get in the way." Vela stared at him. "You plan to fight them." "We plan to end them," Reyes said. Vela's mind raced. "You have one planet. You do not have the numbers." Asha's mouth opened slightly, showing rows of teeth that looked like carved crystal. "Numbers," Asha echoed, amused. "Such a small word for such a small idea." Reyes tapped the table, bringing up a hollow display. It showed the solar system. It showed Reaver approach vectors. It showed a red swarm like a storm cloud. Vela pointed. "They will hit your outer defenses in 5 days. Then the inner system. Then Earth. The shield can form a perimeter. We can begin evacuation of civilians." Reyes lifted a hand. "No evacuation." Vela's voice rose. "Admiral, you cannot." "We can," Reyes said, and his calm voice made it worse. "Because we already moved our civilians where they needed to be months ago." Vela stiffened. "You knew?" Reyes looked tired now. "We didn't know the name Reavers at first, but we saw the pattern. We saw the missing worlds. We noticed the quiet gaps on your star maps. We asked questions. You didn't answer." Vela said nothing. Reyes continued. "So we prepared. Underground shelters, deep-sea vaults, mobile cities. We built the kind of plan you build when nobody is coming to save you." Vela swallowed. "That still does not mean you can win." Asha stepped closer. The air felt heavier around her, like gravity got curious. "Humans," Asha said, "do not plan to win. They plan to survive long enough to learn how to win." Reyes looked at Vela. "Commander, we appreciate your intent, but Earth is not helpless. It never was." Vela's mind pushed back. "Then why hide this? Why not join the galactic network? Why not?" Reyes gave a small, bitter smile. "Because the first time aliens showed up near our system, they didn't come to talk. They came to observe. They came to contain. They treated us like a problem." Vela felt a sting of guilt. The shield had debated soul for decades. Many had called humans dangerous. Reyes nodded at the dragon behind him. "We didn't find the Star Dragons through your network. We found them because we screamed into the dark and something screamed back." Asha's eyes softened just a little. "They sang. We answered." Vela looked between them. A human and a dragon, standing like old allies. It made no sense, and it made terrible sense. Reyes touched a control. The hollow changed. It showed something hidden near the sun. A ring of machines, massive and silent. "What is that?" Vela asked. Reyes said the word simply. "A forge." Vela blinked. "A forge?" Asha smiled with teeth. "A nest." Reyes spoke softly now, like he was sharing a secret with the wrong person on purpose. "We call it the Laughing Gate. It's a solar-powered manufacturing ring. It eats light and spits metal. Ships, drones, weapons, whatever we need." Vela's heart thudded. "That would take decades," Reyes shrugged. "We had decades. You just never looked close enough." Vela took a slow breath. "Even with this, the Reavers are still a swarm. They will overwhelm." Asha's wings twitched once. "They will try." Reyes leaned in. "Commander, you came to protect Earth, so here's how you can help." Vela waited. "Move your fleet," Reyes said. "Put it at the edge of the system, not as a wall, as bait." Vela's eyes widened. "Bait?" Reyes nodded. "They will see you. They will think you are the main defense. They will rush you. They buys us time." Vela stared at him. "You want us to bleed first?" Reyes did not flinch. "I want you to survive first." Your ships are stronger than ours in open space. Hold them. Slow them. Don't die. And when the swarm turns toward Earth, he paused. Then he smiled. And it was the same smile from the broadcast. You'll see why we laughed. The fifth day arrived with a quiet that felt wrong. No music from Earth's public channels. No civilian chatter. No random human noise. Earth went dark and silent, like a predator holding its breath. Vela's fleet waited at the system's edge, engines humming low. Then space tore open. The Reavers came in like a swarm of blades. Thousands of ships, each one ugly and sharp, like they were grown from scrap and hate. They moved like insects, but with purpose. Their signals were not words. They were hunger. Vela's officers called rangers. Weapons spun up. The shield line formed a wide arc. Hove, Vela ordered. Do not break formation. The first Reaver volley hit like falling stars. Shield barriers flashed. Several ships buckled. One exploded into white fire. Vela's teeth clenched. Return fire. The shield answered. Energy lances tore through Reaver hulls. Missiles blossomed into bright flowers of death. For a moment it looked like the shield could hold. Then the Reavers shifted. They did not scatter like scared prey. They changed shape. Like water. They flowed around the shield arc, slipping through gaps, sacrificing ships to open paths. Vela's stomach dropped. They're bypassing us. An officer shouted. They're heading toward inner system, toward Earth. Vela's hands tightened. All ships. Pursuit. Delay them at all costs. The shield fleet surged forward. The Reavers raced past, leaving burning wrecks behind. And Vela felt the old fear return, fear she had known on other fronts. Fear of being too late. She opened a direct link to Atlas Ring. Admiral Reyes, she said. They are through, they are coming. Reyes's face appeared, calm as stone. Copy, we see them. Vela's voice sharpened. Then begin evacuation. No, Reyes said. Admiral. Reyes cut in. Commander, keep your ships alive. Pull back to safe distance. Watch. Watch what? Vela demanded. Reyes's eyes flicked to something off screen. Watch the sky. The Reavers entered Earth's space like a storm. They ignored the moon, they ignored stations. They aimed straight for the planet, hungry for the core, hungry for the blue. Human defenses fired. Lasers, railguns, missile swarms. They killed hundreds of Reavers. It did not matter. The Reaver front kept coming, and their backlines filled the gap like waves. They began to drop long black spears, boarding spikes meant to anchor into atmosphere, meant to drag harvesting rigs down like hooks into flesh. Vela watched from the edge of combat space. Her fleet damaged but alive. Her sensors showed the first spike enter in air. She clenched her jaw. This is where it ends, she whispered. Then Earth did something impossible. The planet's magnetic field changed. Not a little shift. Not a storm. It moved like a hand closing into a fist. Vela screens lit with warnings as space around Earth began to glow with blue-white lines, huge arcs of energy stretching from pole to pole. A shield officer gasped. Commander, the planet is charging. Vela's mind went blank. Planets did not charge. A voice came over the summer mist. Asha. Double quotes now. The dragon said softly. The air above Earth shimmered. Then it split. Not like hyperspace. Like a curtain ripping, and something came through. A dragon the size of a city unfolded its wings in orbit. Then another. Then another. They were not ships. They were living stars wrapped in scales. Their bodies glowed in patterns that made Vela's eyes ache. Their wings were wide enough to shadow continents of the star. Dragons, dozens of them, maybe more. They circled Earth like a crown of fire. The Reavers hesitated for the first time. Vela saw it on their movement patterns, teeny pauses, a falter in the swarm. Predators could feel when they had found a bigger predator. Reyes's voice came into Vela's channel. Calm and clear, Commander, he said. Meet Earth's neighborhood. The star dragon opened its mouth and sang. The sound did not. We traveled through air. We traveled through space itself, through radiation, through fields. Vela's hull vibrated. Her bones felt it. The Reaver screamed, back in harsh static. The dragon's song became sharper than the planet's magnetic arcs, snapped outward like whips. They struck the Reaver boarding spikes mid-drop. The spikes turned red, then white, then vanished in bursts of vapor. The Reaver ships tried to pull away, but the magnetic field grabbed their metal bodies like hooks. They were dragged, twisted, crushed, folded like thin foil by a force too big to fight. Vela stared, speechless. Her officer whispered, "This is a weapon." Vela's throat was dry. Now she watched the dragons move with purpose, guiding the field like hands guiding water. She watched the human defense network pulse in perfect time with them. To partnership, Vela breathed. The Reavers adapted fast. Their backlines surged forward with ships coated in dark material that resisted the magnetic grab. They launched drones made of ceramic and stone, not metal. They fired beams that tried to cut the dragon's wings. One dragon took a hit and roared, pain cracking through the coms. For a moment Vela thought the humans had been too bold after all. Then the humans laughed again, not an open channel. Inside their own tactical net. Vela heard it because Reyes patched her in. A human officer said, "They switched to non-metal, they're learning." Another replied, "Good. Phase 2. Vela snapped. Phase 2. Reyes didn't look away from his screens. "We didn't build the Laughing Gate for nothing." Space near the sun fled. A hidden ring the forge woke up fully. Thousands of small objects launched from its shadow. Drones. Not metal drones. Not ships. Something else. They were black, smooth, and oddly alive in motion, like fish in a school. They spread into the path of the Reaver swarm, and then they unfolded. Each drone opened like a flower, revealing a bright core. The cores pulsed with the same rhythm as Earth's magnetic field. The star dragons sang again, and this time the drones answered. A net of light formed in space. It wrapped around the Reaver's metal ships, stone drones, everything, because the net wasn't grabbing metal, it was grabbing movement. It was grabbing mass. Vela watched Reaver's ships slam into the net and stop dead, like insects caught in invisible glue. More ships hit behind them. The swarm piled into itself, a traffic jam of death. Reyes finally looked at Vela. "Commander," he said, "you know what Reavers hate more than losing?" Vela swallowed. "What?" Reyes smiled. "Being stuck." The star dragons dove, not like beasts. Like guided missiles with mines, they tore through the trapped Reavers in clean, brutal passes. Their claws ripped ships open. Their breath, pure plasma, cut through hulls and turned them into clouds. The Reaver swarm tried to retreat, but the net tightened, and Earth's magnetic field pushed outward again like a giant hand shoving trash out the door. The Reavers broke. For the first time in recorded shield history, the Reavers broke and ran. Vela watched their ships flee toward the dark, scattering in panic. She did not cheer, she just stared, because she understood now. Earth was not a helpless world. Earth was a trap. And the humans were smiling because they had been waiting for someone to step into it. Hours later, the battlefield cooled into drifting wreckage. The star dragons stayed in orbit, circling slow, watchful. Vela boarded Atlas Ring again. Her armor scratched, her mind heavy. Admiral Reyes met her in the same room, the same calm stance. Asha waited by the window, looking down at Earth like it was a sleeping child. Vela spoke first. "How many times have you done this?" Reyes's eyes softened. "First time against the Reavers." Vela shook her head slowly. "That was not a first-time plan. That was practice, that was ready." Reyes did not deny it. "Humans have a rule. If we can imagine a nightmare, we prepare for it." Vela looked at Asha. "Why help them?" Asha's golden eyes narrowed, thoughtful. "Because they are small and loud and brave in strange ways. Because they do not kneel when they should. Because they share warmth. Because they make songs even when they are afraid." Vela swallowed. "And what do you want in return?" Asha's mouth curved slightly. "Nothing they cannot give." Reyes added, "We trade, we learn, we protect each other." Vela exhaled. "The shield came to save you." Reyes nodded. "And we appreciate it." Vela's voice grew quiet. "If the galaxy learns what you can do, they will fear you." Reyes's smile faded. "They already do. That's why you watched us from a distance for so long." Vela looked down at the blue planet on the screen, alive and untouched. Then she made a choice. "The galactic shield is not your enemy," she said. "But we cannot pretend we are your parents either." Reyes raised an eyebrow. "What are you offering, Commander?" Vela straightened. "An alliance. Not protection. Not control. Respect." Reyes stared at her for a long moment. Then he laughed once, short, not mocking. "Commander," he said, "that's the first smart thing your people have said to us." Vela almost bristled, but she held it. "And if the Reavers return with more?" Reyes glanced at Asha. The dragon's wings shifted slightly, like thunder behind a mountain. Reyes looked back at Vela. "Then we'll remind them," he said, voice calm and deadly simple, "that they have no idea who they're threatening." Asha leaned closer to the window and spoke like a promise. "And if they forget," the dragon said, "we will teach them again." Outside, Earth turned quietly in the dark, not as a victim, not as a fragile jewel needing a shield, but as a world with teeth smiling in the shadows waiting for the next monster to make the same mistake.